The Toyota badge and the Corolla name is one of the most recognizable names in the world. But make that Corolla an SUV and you have a practical, very reasonably priced vehicle that is versatile and will meet all your needs. We're here at Sonoma Raceway in California to test drive the Toyota Corolla Cross for 2026, the hybrid and the gas. Now there are some changes for 2026, starting with the hybrid, the fuel-sipping vehicle that gets around 42 miles to the gallon. Really different looking because it has a monochromatic grille, and this is a new color, really pretty. But gasoline version also has some changes to it. You'll note that LED headlights are the same across the front. They got rid of those chrome buckets, and that is standard across the lineup, whether you're buying the entry-level trim, the hybrid, or the gas. Now, there are different trim levels for each one. They come all-wheel drive on the hybrid, but on the gas, you can also get it rear-wheel drive. Starting with the gas model, you'll notice the all-black grille, the new headlight design. It's more muscular looking. It's great for your everyday driver. But if you want that more modern, more chic, maybe a little classier look, then you want to look at the hybrid, where it looks similar as far as headlight design, but this monochromatic color changes that look because this is the hybrid that gets the good fuel economy, like I said. They are similar both inside and out, but what's underneath is what makes them completely different. The gasoline engine rides on 17-inch steel wheels. The hybrid, though, rides on 18-inch alloy wheels that either come gray or black. And neither of them stray far from Toyota's conservative design look, but they still look pretty aggressive. There are two engine options. The fuel-sipping hybrid with 196 horsepower that gets about 42 miles to the gallon. That's a real incentive to look at the hybrid because that's great fuel economy. Standard is a CVT transmission. Also standard is all-wheel drive, but this is a direct drive, so you're going to actually get really quick response for that all-wheel drive system. Then we have the gas engine. This is a 2-liter engine with 169 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Also backed by a CVT transmission, but it gets 32 miles to the gallon combined. That's still pretty good considering that extra 10 miles to the gallon means you're going to have a completely different engine and driveline system. This is a mechanical all-wheel drive system. It's also available in rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. For the gasoline-powered engine, you can get 1,500 pounds of towing capacity. Both the gas and the hybrid versions have black mirror caps, and the mirrors fold in. Overall, this black trim on the gas and the chrome trim across the top of the hybrid makes them stand out so they're a little bit different. One more modern, the other one more rugged. Inside the Toyota Corolla Cross seats 5 people. This is a power driver's seat on the higher trim levels, and it also comes with cloth interior. Go up to the higher trim levels and you're going to get this chestnut colored new interior color, but it is faux leather. Of course, real leather would make this a lot more expensive. You'll also find standard for this year a 13-inch larger screen and a 10-inch digital cluster. That is standard across the lineup. That's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Amazon. It's going to make it very connected. Of course, there's Bluetooth, there's wireless charging on the higher trim levels, and tons of charge ports, not just in the glove box, but also on the side here. They want to keep it charging. And in the gas-powered vehicles, there is start-stop technology, which you can shut off with a simple button right here next to the shifter. Inside this vehicle, you'll find a glass roof, which is really nice because you can let the sun in or just pull this cover back and cover it right up. Also JBL audio for those that like the tunes. Heading into the second row, there are child safety seat latches on the outboard. There's also a pocket for all the stuff that everyone brings with them, only behind the passenger seat. Behind the center console, there are vents and 2 more USB-C charge ports, which is great. So everyone has an opportunity to charge. In the doors, you've got cup holders and of course more speakers. The seats fold down 60-40 for giving you additional cargo space, which will give you those numbers in just a second. But there's also cup holders here, which are built in, which I appreciate, which, believe it or not, is a plus versus some of the ones that come out the front and they break over time as kids crawl on them and they just get worn out. One last thing that I'm starting to see in vehicles of this size is a pull. Now, you may not think this is important, but it is if you need help getting out of this vehicle. Whether you're young or old, having this little arm pull here is just a nice little touch that people are asking for when you buy a vehicle of this size. The warranty is 3 years, 36,000 miles, but both of them include a 2-year Toyota Care, which includes maintenance, and the hybrid has a 100,000 mile protection on the battery. Now let's take a look at cargo space. With the second row up, you have 24 cubic feet of storage, which is quite a bit, especially compared to the competitors. Fold down that 60/40 rear seat and you're at 44 cubic feet of storage, which is quite a bit. You've got a nice carpeted mat here and your JBL audio speakers are in the back. Overall, this is great. And one nice additional feature, a cover for the back to protect your goodies. One nice feature that we saw in the Corolla Cross that I like is a spare tire. Now, it's not a full-size spare, it is a mini spare, but better to have a spare tire than get stuck on the side of the road and waiting for roadside service. So we're inside the gas version of the Corolla Cross. Now, the hybrid version obviously is the same, but there are some differences. Both of them offer standard safety in the 3.0 Toyota Safety Sense, and that is good. And that means you're going to get top safety no matter which engine you choose. Now, the one thing to note is obviously better fuel economy, but it's also important to note that there is direct response, all-wheel drive, direct drive, all-wheel drive on the hybrid. That is not the case in the gas version. You're going to get mechanical all-wheel drive. Which is better? Well, that's up to you. It depends which one you want. I will tell you that 60% of the sales for Corolla Cross are gas, 40% for the hybrid. What you're gaining with the hybrid is obviously phenomenal fuel economy. And that is something that a lot of people want. It also has that monochrome front end we showed you that I think looks really cool, and the new colors as well. Now we're test driving the red. There's a special name for the red, but the red is really pretty. It happens to be the same red they used on the Mazda CX-50, so it's similar yet different. They call it a different name. But I will tell you, this vehicle rides really nicely. They both drive really nicely, and I think that's important. The one thing to note is the gas version has an auto off. The hybrid does not. So if you hate that start-stop technology, well, that's going to be something that's very hard to shut off on hybrids, because that's part of what makes hybrids do so well in fuel economy. Personally, I'm not a fan of the start-stop technology. So we're heading out to Sonoma Raceway, and this vehicle is not going on the track. We will be driving the full GR lineup. So if you're thinking you want a performance version of a Toyota product, the GR lineup is fabulous, and you can check that out on our channel. We'll have the GR Supra, the GR86, and the GR Corolla, which we reviewed last year's. They'll all be 26s and some special editions as well. Just a reminder, all the car reviews are here on Car Smarts, and all the automotive news, that's on Car Coach Reports. Let's start with what you get. You're going to get a 13-inch screen here in front of you, just shy of 13 inches. It is standard, and of course you get the 10-inch center screen as well. What you're getting is 3 trim levels. You're getting Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Alexa. All of that is standard now. Wireless charging is on our test vehicle. If you go to the top trim level, you're going to get the faux leather material on the seats, like we showed you when we were showing the interior of this car. Everything's easy to use. There is a volume control button here, so you don't have to use the one that's on the steering wheel. I'd prefer a knob, just a personal thing, but this is the Corolla Cross and it wants to be unique and different. If you don't like these tab buttons and you prefer a dial, contact Toyota. They do listen to their customers. I think that's why they've been so successful. This vehicle has been successful because it is a Corolla, but it's in a hybrid version. And when they first showed it to us, I said, this is a winner all day long, and it has been a huge winner for Toyota. Going further back to the center stack, you've got your vents, your climate controls, super easy to use, which I really like. By the way, this vehicle is really nicely balanced with the brakes and the handling. There is no changing on that for 26, but there are some exterior changes, and of course, like LED lights and everything that we covered on the exterior of this vehicle. Further down below the climate control is a nice little gap where you have your wireless charging, a few additional controls, including for your hatch, your shifter, which is an actual shifter. Thank you. I really hate some of these weird shifters that they've put together. A USB charging port as well. Behind that is 2 cup holders, which is nice for tall items, maybe not big items, but good sized items. And then a nice center console here that is deep, and it has more charging ports inside, which I think is really important. But overall, the interior dash and everything is the same. Steering wheel is nicely sized. If you've driven a Toyota before, this is a very intuitive setup, so you feel comfortable driving this. And going up these hills, there is plenty of power in the gas as well as the hybrid, so you won't be finding yourself thinking you don't have enough power. You have plenty of power in this vehicle. And I think that's why this vehicle has been so successful, is the way they mapped out the accelerator pedal, because it's now drive-by-wire. It's no longer the old cable setup like back in the day. And so they can apply the power and the torque where they need it. Because remember, you buy horsepower, but you drive torque. And that's why this vehicle is just really easy to drive. And I think that's why they've been so successful. And remember, their main competitor is the RAV4. And that is a big competitor. And they're finding that the people that are purchasing the Corolla Cross are a younger generation. They love this vehicle because they're not driving a little Corolla, they're driving a Corolla Cross. And I think that was super smart. And again, if it's all about fuel economy for you, it's all about being as green as possible, definitely take the hybrid for a drive. And you will see that you are not losing anything. It might be a little more expensive, but I think you gain a lot when it comes to fuel economy. And again, you can do the numbers and figure out that it's really going to be a value-based vehicle all the way around, no matter what you buy. Now, there are some pros and cons, and there is a very long list of competitors. Let's check that out, and we'll also talk about the pricing, and that's really important when you buy any vehicle. So let's talk about the pros and cons when it comes to the Corolla Cross. Practicality, great value, tons of storage, technology is included, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all major pluses. The only thing I could find on the negative side is some of the competitors offer plushier interiors, but when you're comparing them apples to apples, overall you can tell why the Corolla Cross has been so successful for the brand. This vehicle is the reliable, responsible Corolla, but it's in an SUV, and now you can get it in a hybrid or the gas version. So whatever you're looking for, Toyota has come up with a vehicle that will fit your needs. If you want something with more performance, of course, you can always go to the GR lineup. But for most people, that's not going to make a lot of sense, which is why vehicles like the Corolla Cross have been so successful. The competitor list is long, which is new for 2026, the Honda HR-V, the Hyundai Kona, the Kia Seltos, the Ford Bronco Sport, which is a little sportier than this vehicle, but it depends what you're looking for, the Chevrolet Spark, and the Subaru Crosstrek. So the trim levels have changed for 2026. For gas, it's LE and XLE, and for hybrid, it's SE and XSE. So they split the category, so there's two of each trim level. Pricing starts at $24,600 for the gas version and just over $31,000 for the hybrid. That's right in line with their main competitor, the Toyota RAV4. I'm sure you have some additional questions about the 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross, whether you're looking at the hybrid, which I think is really good looking, or the gasoline version, which is my personal favorite. I think either way you're going to find a vehicle that meets your needs. Of course, test drive all the competitors. We've reviewed them all on our Car Smarts channel. Check with your insurance agent before you make a final decision. If you got value from this video, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support our channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. The link for that is in the description, plus more details, and of course, ways to reach me on social media. I'm LaurenFix. Thanks so much for watching.